Hello, and welcome to part two of the story of the Air Force Academy Northgate. Part one introduced you to the area with some historical photos and told you about the railroad community of Houston, which had stations on both the Rio Grande and the Santa Fe Railroad. Now we're going to take a look at a rather bad day on August 14th, 1909. That is when two trains collided just north of the Houston station. And in this article that was in the New York Times, it called out that 8 people were killed and many hurt. It turned out, after all was done, 12 people lost their lives. On board the train was Wilbur Fulker, and he had a camera and he snapped 6 pictures of the train accident right after it happened. His son, also Wilbur Fulker, is the man who the fountain downtown is named after, and he was a wonderful teacher at the deaf and blind school there downtown. I had a chance to get to know Wilbur late in his life, and what a wonderful history enthusiast and gentleman he was. So I was able to use these pictures and get some research material on the accident to try to pinpoint where it occurred. Here is a summary of information extracted from the newspaper and railroad commission accounts. Like I said, 12 people were killed in the accident and 2 trains collided. There was some confusion on the orders of who was supposed to be where, and it was a very, very sad day. So here is some information. One of the documents I got, along with my friend David Hollenbach, an Air Force Academy 1987 graduate, we got a copy of the accident report, and we got information on where the accident occurred. So we went out in the field, armed with the photos that Wilbur Fulker took, and tried to pinpoint exactly where the accident occurred. So I'm going to use my laser pen here. This picture was taken by Fulker, and here you can see the tracks and the damaged engines, and here is a bunch of people who survived the accident and are standing off to the side. We pinpoint this photo being taken from about this location. You can see the north entry guard building that controls entry onto and off of the academy. So we took this picture. This horizon here is what we believe this horizon is here. So, and the people are standing in there. There has been a lot of ground movement, construction and stuff, so things don't match up exact. But we continued in our quest to pinpoint the location. Here is a picture of a locomotive on its side, and you can see some people standing there. So the track is here, and we believe the track is right here, and it's this hill and this ridge line that we see here. Okay, so this is another photo of the crash, and can you see the people standing on the hill there? We think that's in this general area here. Here's another photo. This is the accident with people, and they're standing to the east of the wreckage, and you can see the horrible smoke and all that sign of damage. This ridge line, we believe, is this ridge line. Wasn't as many trees back then, but you get an idea. Here you can see the berm that the tracks were on, and that is right there. Okay, so these are photos taken 111 years later that David and I took. Okay, so we continue. Here is excerpt from the accident report that gives us some positional information where the accident occurred. But now what I want to show you is here is some of the carnage of the horrible accident, and here are the people standing. You can see here the ridge line, if you will, and that's the smoke coming from a Santa Fe railroad train that was probably chugging along right there. Okay, so this is the track. Okay, and the people there are standing right in here. Okay, so we did this effort similar to the way John Fielder does the Colorado before and long before and current pictures. I think we did a pretty good job. The land topography has changed, but we really tried to pinpoint this and give you an idea. It's located just south of the west end of the North Gate Bridge. It is on Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad property, so you really can't go down in there. But if you're not the driver, gaze south and you'll see where this horrible accident occurred. Okay, let's go to a happy story. As I did my research on the Husted area, I learned of many pioneers who had patents or homesteads on the academy. One predominant family was the McElroy family, and these are the patents, the land patents they had. Elijah, David, Allie, George. The McElroys were all over this general area of the North Gate. Here's a picture of the Air Force Academy cadet area. Well, I looked in the white pages and found a phone number of a David McElroy, so I thought he might be related to this one. So I did a cold call. Well, it turned out to be class of 2003 Air Force Academy graduate David McElroy, who is a lieutenant colonel now in the Air Force flying the C-130. He was amazed that I tracked him down, and through family records, he verified that these McElroys are relatives of his. So what excites me here is David, an Air Force Academy graduate, is a relative of a descendant of the McElroy pioneer family. Isn't that awesome? Here's a picture of the David McElroy homestead on the Air Force Academy area. This is pre-1900, so that's McElroy standing right there. How about that? McElroy was responsible for loading cattle onto the rail cars at the Husted station that supported the Denver Rio Grande. And he built a big lake, and it's been changed over time due to silt. But he had this little gadget here that he could turn and open a valve, and out of this dam he would release water, and that water would trickle down to the troughs down there so he could water up the cattle before they got on the rail cars. So the McElroy connection of an Air Force Academy graduate to the McElroy family just totally excites me. I'd also like to show you what the cadet athletic fields looked like long before they were the cadet athletic fields. This is the Cathedral Rock Ranch or Lehman Ranch. This is looking from about where the Arnold Hall is on the Air Force Academy, looking north. This is the mountain peak, Mount Herman. That is the Cathedral Rock. And this is the Lehman Ranch, and that's a bunch of their cattle out there. It's a beautiful ranch. I love the red roof. Okay, well, let's take a look at another picture, and you'll get an idea of what the ranch looked like. There it is, a pretty amazing ranch, 4,000 acres, raising Hereford cattle. Okay, so there you see that. And I bet you're wondering, what does he mean this is on the cadet athletic field? Okay, let's take a look. Here we are, the Air Force Academy, Vandenberg Hall, Fairchild Hall, Mitchell Hall. Chapel wasn't being built yet. This is the initial building of the Air Force Academy. If you look right there, there's the Lehman Ranch. There's Mount Herman, there's the Cathedral Rock, and look at that. There's the cadet athletic fields. Isn't that amazing? So a lot of the buildings that were here were put on girders and moved to other locations. But the Lehman Ranch was the area where the cattle kind of hung out and was terraced into the cadet athletic fields that I spent a lot of time on. So The next time you're up at the academy when they allow visitors back there, you'll be able to have a whole new perspective that this was once a ranch. Well, that concludes my introduction, my review of what the North Gate was. The North Gate was the home of a little community called Husted, and it supported the railroad. It had a little store on the road, the Kinner store, and the McElroys were a pioneer family there, and the Lehman Ranch was up by the Cadet Athletic Fields, just so rich in history. Someday, if you'd like, when we get back together for our wonderful town hall history talks, I could talk for many hours, but I won't. I could talk about the Cathedral Rock. Did you know pioneers as early as the 1860s carved their name in the rock to signify that they were there? I could tell you that story. Well, again, on behalf of the Palmer Lake Historical Society, I want to let you know that in June, the Father's Day ice cream social will occur safely on the town green, and we hope to see you there. And we hope you are now a lot smarter on the north gate of the academy, which long ago was the Husted area. Have a great day. Have a wonderful time keeping history alive. That's what the Palmer Lake Historic Society is all about.